Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be talking about the 12 books I read in January, so let's jump into it. So in January I read 12 books. We will start with the non-fiction read because I am thankfully on track of reading my 12 non-fiction books this year. You'll see a video upcoming soon about the 12 books I want to read, but the first one I picked up was Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. This was so good. I really enjoyed this. It was basically stories from his childhood growing up in South Africa, kind of after apartheid, and he not only explained kind of how apartheid affected people, but also his stories, like what he remembers and how it affected his growing up and like his identity. It was so good. It was really interesting to learn about his childhood, him growing up, and his mum sounds like an absolute gem. She sounds amazing. I highly would recommend this. I really wish I would have listened to the audiobook because he narrates it and his humour is just hilarious. Yeah, highly recommend this. It was really interesting and it has definitely made me want to learn more about apartheid and kind of racism in South Africa outside of the US and Britain. Yeah, highly recommend. Now we're just going to jump into the fiction books. I'll start with the lowest rated and work our way up to, how many 5 stars? I think I had 2 5 stars. So it was a good month. It's a good month. So my lowest rated book this month was The Virgin's Lover by Philippa Gregory. This is about the kind of love affair between Robert Dudley and Elizabeth, and Robert Dudley's marriage and the loss of his wife, and it was enthralling to read. I couldn't put it down. I was really sucked into the listening experience, but I did not like the portrayal of Elizabeth in this. I really didn't. I didn't like Robert Dudley. He was an awful person. I think I've rated it 3 stars, but in actuality it's like 1.5. And this is going straight in my on-hold pile. It just wasn't great. And I'm starting to think that I much prefer her stories about Henry VIII's wives. I didn't like this. It's going. It just wasn't for me. Yeah. Which is sad, but what can you do? The next 2 books are 3 stars, so solid reads. They were okay. They were not great, but just good. I read The 12 Lives of Samuel Hawley by Hannah Tinty. This is about a man named Samuel, and he has had a troubled past. He's gotten into a lot of trouble. He's been shot 12 times, hence the holes on the front cover. And in this, he's raising his daughter Lou, and we follow not only their relationship, but also the 12 times he's been shot and the trouble he's got into. And it says there's supposed to be a twist. Something happened to Lou's mother, and you're kind of working this out. It was okay. It was a slow burn. It dragged on in bits. But I did like Lou, and I liked the relationship with her father. But yeah, it was just a bit slow. But this book, let's just undress it. This naked book is absolutely gorgeous. And it could be just because I'm not a huge fan of literary fiction, and it was a literary fiction thriller, and maybe I went into it with too high expectations of thrilleriness. But yeah, it was okay. I would be intrigued to pick up another story by her, but overall, I can't get the jacket back on. What is wrong with me? Yeah, so I'd be interested to read another story by her because the writing was good. It was just a bit slow for me. It dragged in places. But yeah, I'm definitely keeping this book just because of how beautiful it is. And if you like literary fiction, this might be right up your alley. The daughter-father relationship is very interesting. And then I picked up another Philippa Gregory book. I picked up The Other Queen, and this was on my 2019 TBR, and I just didn't. So I thought I'd read it. It's about the imprisonment, but she wasn't really imprisoned. She was under house arrest, basically, of Mary Queen of Scots when she was kind of older. I think she was in her 20s, and she was held hostage in houses by Queen Elizabeth. So this is that story. It was really good. I really liked the story between her and Shrewsbury. It was very very good. 3 stars. It was, again, entertaining, very fast-paced, but not one of my favourites, which is sad because I love Mary Queen of Scots. I like Tudor history. This is just not bad. Not bad. Not my favourite. So 3 stars. I will be keeping this. It will not suffer the same fate as The Virgin's Lover. But yeah, if you're interested in Mary Queen of Scots, I would recommend this. It was good. It was enjoyable. And let's move on to my 4-star reads. I have 3 of them. The first one is Across the Green Grass Fields by Shawnee Maguire. This is part of the Wayward Children series, where basically children who have escaped through portals, think Narnia or Alice in Wonderland, return home, and there's a special home for these children as they try to cope with being back in a world they don't necessarily want to be in or don't fit in. In this, we follow our main character, who has just discovered she's intersex and gets transported to a world, kind of the horse lover's dream world, with all different variants, there we go, of horse mythical creatures. And it was really good. It was really sweet. I really enjoyed this series. There's a few I don't, but this is one of the ones I've rated higher. Yeah, I do recommend this. I think this would be a good jumping off spot if you're wanting to get into the series but not read the previous 5 books. But yeah, I really love these stories. Even the ones I give 3 stars, they're just so whimsical and fun and enjoyable, and there's like a lesson at the heart of them. They're so good. I do recommend. And the audiobooks, I love the audiobooks. Then on to physical books. We'll start with this one. This is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfeld. This is about a little pub called the Swan, and one night someone discovers a man who's been knocked unconscious and a little girl who is dead. But it turns out she's not dead, and there's a whole mystery surrounding this child, and we follow that and like the stories that are told at the Swan. And it's just such a beautiful fairy tale-esque story. It is very slow, I will say that. It is a slow story, but it's so beautiful, so just magical. Even though there's not that much magic in this, it just has like that feeling of magic and the feeling of a fairy tale. And I love this. It was so enjoyable. I do want to pick up the 13th tale, just because I love this story, and I think it was so good. And it was so just different and enjoyable and slow. I keep saying the same things. I don't know how else to describe it. Definitely one if you like slower stories, if you want that kind of cozy feeling, pick this up. Then this one was kind of shocking how much I enjoyed this. This is Catwoman by Sarah J Maas, and in this we're following Selena as she becomes Catwoman. It's kind of Catwoman's origin story, and I really like this. It was just like, I devoured it. I couldn't put it down. It was really enjoyable. It was really fast paced. I'm starting to learn that I really like Sarah J Maas' writing. It's fun, it's easy, it gets you hooked, and I sometimes need that. Like, everyone needs that sometimes. And if you like superheroes, definitely pick this up. And maybe even if you don't, but you want to like try reading these, I would start with this one. It was very good. I do want to read the rest of these because I apparently like superhero novels now. But yeah, solid 4 stars. And this naked book is, again, like, how cool is that? It's a cat. It's a cat. And then we get into my 4.5 reads. They were almost good enough to be 5, but just didn't quite hit the mark. And the first one is The Chestnut Man. This is a detective thriller about a serial killer who leaves chestnut dolls at his victims, and he takes their body parts. It's not great. It is really good. It felt like a TV show. It felt like Criminal Minds or NCIS. If you like those shows, I definitely highly recommend to pick this up. I liked the detectives in this. I liked their chemistry and the way they worked together. I enjoyed, if I say I enjoyed the motive of the serial killer, does that make me weird? Because I did. I really like this. And the reason I think it felt like a show is Soren Strives Up is a TV show writer. I think he wrote the play, the script for The Snowman by Joe Nesbo. I'm not entirely sure if I got that right, but he is a script writer, a screenwriter, so maybe that's why it felt really more TV show-esque. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. It was slow at times, which is why I think I gave it a 4.5, because I could like dive in and out and in and out, and it didn't affect the story, but equally it wasn't super fast, like couldn't put it down. Yeah, but really enjoyed it, really liked it. I want to read more by him, but I don't think any more of his works are translated into English yet. And then this was the first book I read this year. This was my Christmas Eve book exchange with my husband, but I read part of it and then put it down. I wasn't feeling like reading at the end of last year. I reread the beginning bit and I really enjoyed this book. In this, we're following 4 friends who have done something that maybe they shouldn't have done, but you know, it's in the past, it doesn't matter. But then one of them dies and weird things start happening to the other ones. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I know. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It is definitely more into like the gothic horror vibes. So think Mexican Gothic or The Silent Companions. Both of those books I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed this. And it was just eerie. It was eerie and creepy, and like I really liked the writing. The writing was very well done. And it had some poignant moments and beautiful moments and just wow, it was good. I highly recommend if you're looking for like a gothic horror to read, this. So good and worth the hype. On to my 5-star books for the month. The first one was The Conjurer by Luann G. Smith. This is the final book in the Vine Witch trilogy, and it was so good. It was one of the best wrap-ups I've read. I loved who we followed in this story. It was a story I was itching to read, and it was well worth it. I will be purchasing all of these in physical form soon because they're just so good. And in this world, the first book, The Vine Witch, we follow Elena as she is just escaping a curse and she's trying to figure out what happens, and she gets to return home, and that's where I'm going to leave kind of her story. But in this world, there's so many different kinds of witches and magic, and they're acceptable parts of society. They work in perfume shops. Some of them have, you know, a skill in perfume and smells, and some of them have a feel for the vines and make great wine. It is so good, and I just loved it. It was beautiful, beautiful. Again, it's kind of similar vibes to Once Upon a River, but more fast moving, and it's so good. If you want witchy vibes, read this series. It's so good. I wish more people were talking about it because it deserves so much hype. And the second to last book I want to talk about is The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Niveau. Wow, this book was stunning. It was so good to be such a short book. We are following a cleric named Chi and her hoopoe, which I love hoopoes. This is a hoopoe in case you want to know, but named Almost Brilliant, and they are traveling, and then they meet an elderly lady named Rabbit, who was the handmaiden to the Empress Inyo, and we hear about her story, and it was moving and atmospheric and beautiful and heart-wrenching and just wow, to be such a short book. Wow, and I really can't and I can't wait to pick up the second book, which is, oh, I forgot the title. It's something about tigers. But yeah, this is, yeah, I can't say more about it or else it'll spoil it because it is so short, but pick it up. It was so good. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. And then the last book, well, what, not the last book, but the creme de la creme, The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. I finished the trilogy and I'm sad and my heart hurts because not only will I continuously sing praises of this trilogy, N.K. Jemisin is a master. She's a genius. I don't know how she comes up with these concepts and the storylines, and they're just so well done and heart-wrenching and moving and beautiful, and just, she's a genius. She's so smart and creative, and I just don't know how she does it. It was amazing. And the first book is the 5th season, and it's about this society where they have things called seasons, which are basically the end of the world that they survive. People survive these really harrowing earth disasters, natural disasters, there we go. But we also have origins in this world, and they have the power to control tectonic plates, the earth, things like that. And instead of being welcomed into society and used to help prevent seasons and help others survive seasons, they are shamed, like frowned upon. They're bad, they're horrible things, and very much looked down upon in society. And if you find one, a lot of the times, it's because they have accidentally done something, either saved a city or reacted badly and killed someone. And they're either killed by the villagers or they're taken to a place called the Fulcrum and saved. But it's not really salvation. And that's all I'm going to say. It's really good. I'm making my husband read it because I need someone to talk to this about. It's so good. I highly recommend if you're looking for a dystopian sci-fi fantasy. It's worth the read. It's so good. So good. Yeah. Right. That's it. That's all the books I read in January. I don't know how I managed to read 12 books, but I like it. And yeah, what did you read in January? What was your favourite book? Mine was definitely The Stone Sky, and I'm already sad it's over. I hope you are all staying happy, safe and healthy, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye guys!